You know, coffee is for closing. Shout out to the whole clique, the whole team. It's the Winners Club. Shout out to the Coconut Kingdom family. But you know, we had to jump on just to address a few things. I'm not too sure what on earth is happening in the community to somebody who's just minding their own business behind the scenes. So I just had to drop a lot of records for the streets, a lot of music across the globe. Shout out to all the big brands I've been working with. But you want to know something as well? I work with a lot of individuals. I shake a lot of hands. And I pay loyalty and respect to a lot of people from day one. This is since day one. So I know a lot of people who've been acting really crazy in the city in real life. There's a lot of individuals who also went through this same behavior in history, right? It's like, just to name one, Jay Prince went through a lot of that. I don't know why. Who else? Jay Hova went through a lot of that. Who else? A lot of people in different areas across the world went through a lot of that. So as I'm spending money with different businesses and people showing up in front of their face to pay loyalty and respect with the Coconut Kingdom family and the Winners Club, right? We spend a lot of money just to pay respect, just to have fun, just to celebrate in the city. That's what my mom taught me. Miracles is out now. That's a brand new song that's out now. But tell me this, if I wrote the song Duffel Bag, right? If I put clothing on people's backs, if I put food on people's plates, if I spent money across the globe, city to city, state to state, tell me, why do I have Federale with cameras showing up to my doorstep without constant cash? So how on earth would you bring what? Your cameras on your suits like this and everything all in my face, right? Even though I knew you since a baby. So a lot of people I knew since they were young, since they were babies. But here's the only problem. If you're older than me, right? And I knew you since a baby, what? If you like, I don't know, 12 years old and I'm 8. And then maybe you're like, I don't know. Maybe it's probably not that. It's probably way different if you go hold an ego, right? So maybe it's like, if I'm uh 14 and maybe you're 20. Maybe you're 21 and I'm 14, right? Maybe I'm hustling at 14, buying everything at the mall. So a lot of individuals, just because I had $0, right, and I learned to work, sometimes people carry egos even when I'm in college working. So I spent a lot of time and money in college, even though, I might not be the brightest or the smartest person. But being in college or just having no ego or no jealousy or envy, what does that mean? That means that even if I'm in school or college or around people older than me, I don't have to act like I know something more than them. But sometimes if I'm just, maintaining looking fresh and fly, imagine Federales pulling up when I'm trying to go to work. So that's the nice term, to not say any names, right? So why is, bro, like 10 federale always pulling up to my doorstep with cameras on them, right? But not without money to actually fund somebody that came off of zero. So imagine you came off of zero, right? And your mom was holding you down. So then you gotta learn to be the one in the household, right? So you gotta learn to hold it down. Imagine they send your dad back overseas, bro, and they deport him overseas because he do reggae music. So that's a legend. But then they like to mess up legends' mindsets, right? So imagine my OG gotta go overseas, so I gotta start working constantly, even in school. So I gotta just have that mindset. So I'm buying everything, bro. I'm investing into whatever keeps you fly. If it's Iverson Reebok shoes, if it's Jordans, this is all in high school, bro. So imagine then other people have egos because you in high school and they older, but that throughout their whole life, they start sending federale to you, right? So imagine it's just you holding down the house, but they're brave enough to spot you going to work, spot you going to college, and then spot you also at your house, bro, for no reason. So you're just making money because you gotta hold the household down. That's not the records I was dropping or the mixtapes I was dropping. That's just work, bro. That's just working professional. So imagine you at work too, and the federales pull up to your workplace. So not only is the federales pulling up when you in college, right, and in high school, they pulling up to your workplace after you working, bro. And it's not secret shoppers, it's federale pulling up. Imagine they're underpaying you, right? And then every time you go to work, they're pulling up with federale. So you could be in high school, you could be in college, you could be then on the news. Say you end up on the news. I don't gotta say names, right? Say you hustling and you end up on the news. I have all the video footage clipped up. It's not KHON Channel 2 news. It's KITV4 news. That's what I was on. But say the federale keep pulling up to you instead of giving you money. Bro, imagine you a 4.0 student who can ball and hit the league and you wearing satin, bro. You wearing Saya satin, bro. Somewhere in America, throwing up W's in the Winners Club and Coconut Kingdom family, bro. And imagine instead of giving you duffel bags so you can keep investing in the city and holding it down, they keep showing up with the feds with video cameras, not helping you. So imagine you don't even drive, or sometimes you drive big body, right? So imagine you going on a bus to spend money and show love to the city, right? Imagine that's when the feds try to stop you from riding a bus. Imagine you pulling up to work or the school and then they try to stop you from making more money going to school or work. So just trying to shift your path just by them doing something that, bro, if you were to do nothing would be better than to do something. So if you were to do nothing but pay him, that's better than doing something else. So how on earth then when I'm selling the most phones in the league, right? The most jewelry, the most phones, the most, bro, that's the night shift. I'm hustling 24/7. It's 4.0s in college. It's, bro, doing percentages in Wall Street, bro. How on earth you sending federale to my face to do stupid activities instead of to just pay me? So how on earth is some days I'm waking up with more money than you, making more money than you trying to arrest me instead of pass me the ball? So you supposed to pass the ball to somebody who's wearing satin in the Winners Club, right? Especially if that's somewhere in America, bro. Especially if that's Coconut Kingdom family day one at the mall as well. Like, bro, we had the whole thing going out left and right. That's products across the globe. So this is somebody spreading peace, love, happiness, and they already know that, right? Since day one. That's how on earth you sending 5 federales to me at a time. This is the word for cops, right? Police for no reason. To somebody, all they're trying to do is make money, bro. This is somebody who come off zero that had the hardest time to cut through at different times, right? With health issues. But instead of giving him everything, you're literally trying to have detours and hold somebody back. This is somebody that's literally, bro, just trying to have best interest. If you come from zero and you gotta put all money in and you kind of came from a smaller household, and then you deport the person's family, and then they put up 50 plus records, right? And then you running behind their house and then brave enough to show up at their door, instead of to pay the person millions of dollars that you already owe them, that they already driving big body, dropped the song Miracles with their mom, dropped the song Jah Is My Destiny because I had to then grow up by myself, right? So if I'm hustling 24/7, buying cards, right? Just like Gary Vee buying cars, collecting cars, doing this, bro, flipping money in best interest of the community. So sometimes people might take L's, smaller L's, but then have made more for themselves that they then feed other people, even if they don't have it, right? So that's the cool people that don't have egos, that come up from the community, that is like, bro, we all don't have it. Have some of the chips back, bro. Just pass the chips bag around, bro. This is the person in school just shaking hands that if they made a couple extra dollars, then maybe we either playing cards or we throwing money around or we spending money at the mall since a baby. How on earth you bringing people that make $100,000 plus, right? If I'm on zero and you making, if you send 5 of them and that's 600,000-700,000, how on earth is you not paying me, right? When I say if you want me to do something, then you gotta pay me first. But you doing the complete opposite to somebody in the community, right? Who's literally what? Coconut Kingdom Family, the Winners Club, which is World Music Innovations, Constant Cash, bro. That's 50 records, bro. How on earth is you showing up at my doorstep? Somebody who's state to state international, 200 plus countries across the globe, and instead of protecting him with cash, the duffel bag after he writes that, you sending people with this and that running around the city, not sending me cars, not sending me money, not in the best interest or in my favor, right? That then I gotta learn to be more educated because people that's older than me is then sleeping with the feds, sending them to me, and you guys is not paying me. So then how on earth can then people go missing too, right? With the wrong individuals. You guys is hanging out with the wrong people, but you not paying the person in Sate, but he's only sending people peace, love, and happiness at his mama's house who dropped the song Miracles, 50 records, bro, for the streets. Bro, this is clothes that's more expensive than your uniform, and you trying to hold me back from making money, and you not filling my cash app 24/7 with cash in my hands, but you sending body cameras and all of that to my doorstep, bro, with white dudes that don't know what they talking about to my door, to my mama's house to disrupt her peace, love, and happiness. So how is you disrupting somebody who gotta learn to hold down the house, right? Who gotta pay rent every single month? You not paying his rent. You trying to torturous interfere him from making more cash, more money, right? He's not trying to say this in front of people's faces, right? But then now he gotta talk like this or that. Bro, all you supposed to, bro, the person who was on the news, not even the president went through that. None of the presidents went through that. The person who I was with on the news, right? KITV4, talking about how much work I put in to get there, never went through that. People who sleep with the federale, that's girls, never went through that. And now you get more people than the collective station at one time showing up to me. And you not paying me first. You know how much money that's wasted in tax dollars that would have been my own tax dollars, right? He literally had his face, had to go to the police station, right? So you never run into this guy. And if you do, you gotta pay him so much money. But you're practicing avoidance issues, bro. You know how crazy this behavior looks to not just pay somebody. For you to be making $200,000, $300,000 to somebody making zero, but is still outside looking fresher and flyer than you, dropping records in the street with a uniform more expensive than yours, and you trying to hold bro that's younger than you back. And then my girl is going missing and she not even passing me the ball. As well as all the feds with body cameras showing up to my house, bro. You know how much big bodies you would have to put me in 24/7, have me sponsored by everything, have me in top floor residencies permanently, every hotel across the globe, to continue to be sending up to 10 federales, is the police, the cops, to one person doorstep, bro. This is one person who started the Winners Club, Coconut Kingdom Family.com brand, Wish You Were Mine album. Bro, this is City Pop. Bro, this is the person who do a 8-minute freestyle, bro, for the whole entire city that goes across the globe. You guys owe me royalties and money. Facebook owe me hundreds of thousands. My Instagram gets shut down. They owe me millions, bro. YouTube owe me money still. TikTok owe me money still. And you sending federale with body cameras and all of that. But you not then reporting on the data and how much money you actually owe me. And you not talking about it now, to make somebody else have to then communicate about it wearing satin, bro. That's like vegan silk, while he's throwing up W's in the city on a peaceful vibe. You know how crazy that is, bro? What is 10 federale making 100,000 show up in front of my face? That's the police, bro. That's you owe me over 1 million for PTSD if then I drop Where You Been and records back to back, bro. This is the behavior that's happening in the city, bro. This is all the police. This is not even doing that to the president, not even doing that to the people that they then try to hang out with, right? And gamble with behind the scenes. But you not paying me. To then you show up at my doorstep for no reason, and then you use what? Security that's video and audio. Bro, I would be pretty much the richest person in America, bro, to have this behavior show up to me. If that's at my mama's house, bro, where I'm learning to pay the rent for, and you guys never pay me all my royalties, and I just dropped 50 records for the streets, bro. You know how crazy that sound, to be playing piano, drum machines all myself, 100% or 4.0, balling against everybody on the courts, bro, to be wearing satin and the feds show up in front of my face, not with a duffel bag to pay me, bro, that's the most um wildest behavior I ever saw. To them be letting people run in and out of jail, and you giving them opportunities, but you not paying me first. So now you giving people out of jail opportunities. You showing up at my doorstep at my mom's house, but you not giving me the duffel bag even when I'm going to work, bro. You try to put handcuffs on me and not send him to work in the car just by in good faith, because that's how much work he done in the city. And then he gotta actually go talk to the sheriffs, right? But then you don't just pay him cash, you send more to him. And I gotta avoid all that behind the scenes, make more money in Wall Street, and you guys is not paying me money. And all you guys in the actual station is all not doing anything, bro. So how you send 10 people to one person who's making and hustling more, and he was literally on the news next to Jason Arcelo? This never happened to Jason Arcelo, that I worked more than to be on the news to put out 50 plus records, bro. So you never send 10 federales to Jason Arcelo, but you send them to Josh Ford Music, bro, which is Joshua Elijah Ford, who pay for everything. So this is pretty much somebody who paying for everything, holding down his mama's house. That's just him. You guys deport his dad as a baby. Then you try to use what? You try to make him seem like he's delusional. It's not delusional when he in Wall Street doing bigger percentages, cashing out his own money. And then you not using the body cameras to put that back together to show that you owe him millions of dollars, bro. Which is probably $1 billion, especially if my girl go missing and she owe me money too. So a lot of R&B girls go missing that already owe me money, but then federally show up with cameras and I'm the one in satin on camera, bro. But then you not taking yours, what, live behind the scenes. The whole station is worth more millions than I have. And you guys owe me millions of dollars, bro. Plus my royalties, plus not having any torturous interferences. Plus, why is R&B girls then turning to feds and acting like they gotta go against me and then protect me at the same time? To then block me at work, block me at different, just by going on the buses, bro. That's called torturous interference to somebody who's not then trying to act like wearing satin probably wouldn't make him a more professional than people who don't wear satin. Like, bro, you guys don't even know where to buy satin to then make movies about somebody, right? How you making movies about the person instead of paying him? Then Hollywood and Netflix make movies about him, right? Because he's more on live than other people with body cams. They got body cams chasing me down. How does that make sense to somebody that's funding everything, trying to hold his mom down at his mom's house to pay rent? Bro, you guys is getting houses for free, living like this and that with walkie-talkies. And you not paying my phone bill but showing up when I'm selling phones and jewelry. To then show up at concerts that I pay for the whole thing after he's on the news in front of the public, one of the biggest in college 4.0s, and then the whole crew go missing, right? The crew go missing, and then 4 federales show up one time, all with what? Torturous interference, not having in good faith, not doing due diligence and research. Bro, And he gotta be professional, but then he also has to speak like almost sarcastically at times, because how does this behavior exist if he already had to go to the station, right, to take photos, because it's photos that you guys literally owe him money after he pull up what on Pay Me on a Rolls Royce, bro. So if he drop Pay Me, pull up in front in a Rolls Royce, is on zero doing that, helping his mom hold it down, which is dropping miracles for the streets, feeding everybody. Instead of paying him, right? You guys is gambling, doing this and that, taking flights in the station, not using Final Cut to show that that's how much you gotta pay him for every time you pulled up in front of his face, not with money, not with a duffel bag full of cash, right? If that's Constant Cash Records. But then you pull up doing some lame activity, trying to question him, trying to interrogate him. It's like, what more do you want to see if his whole life was online, bro? This is somebody who lived in front of the cameras online enough to show transparency, enough to show he's performing at the college, he's performing at the fair, he's performing on news stations, he's literally making thousands performing at every single club. He's wearing satin off of zero, bro, feeding people while he's still skinny, but you not giving him duffel bags. And that's the police station, bro. That's the feds. And you not giving him unlimited everything, because not even presidents went through that. So how somebody go to Wall Street, make that much money off of zero, make that much records? The record companies never made that much records in some years, right? But then you sending the federale to me instead of actually my best interest after he wrote duffel bag and Pay Me. You have to pull up with Rolls Royces, bro. You have to pull up with paychecks every day if he's doing that in Wall Street. You have to pull up with, bro, send him to every hotel. He would have to have millions every single day if there's people out here that make millions every day. And if you already was pulling up to me with like a $300,000 paycheck, bro, and then to act stupid to me, and your uniform wasn't worth as much as my regular clothes, how does that make any sense to then not know that you already owe me money and gotta pay me if I go through anything in life? He already had to say that in front of the chief police officer's face, to then have 10 more federale later ever step up to me without paying him the duffel bag first, with constantly the Cash App infinite, bro. You know how much I would have been a billionaire already if I could do that much records. My dad imported, then I jump out in front of everybody, and then I interview the whole entire island that's in front of the mall. I'm over there at the college my whole life. And then I gotta drop all the content again just to show you who you gotta pay. So that's crazy behavior in the city for no reason. And it start with a lot of R&B girls that go behind my back that owe me a lot of money. So I could be funding a concert, then they go to the feds behind my back, they pull up in front of my face. A lot of white feds, and then other feds that act like they're Hawaiian, bro. So then, if I spend more money in Hawaii, right, feeding and helping the people with the Coconut Kingdom family and the Winners Club, right, in the Hawaiian Islands, with more inspirational content, dropping records, how on earth is you not paying me? But to ever have body cams where you trying to then act like, oh, I cannot see that. Oh, I'm not just gonna chop it up and then deliver the money directly, just off of loyalty and respect and good faith. So if you was that stupid to do that to somebody who was on the news, bro, just by loyalty and respect, you would have go back, shake his hand and give him cash. That's what a real one would have do if he wrote the song Real One, Duffel Bag, and Pay Me. So a lot of people gotta then, self-analyze their behavior and where the money would then go with compounded interest. To ever have him paying rent, to ever have him having to work, which he already did more work for you guys to continue to pull up. So this behavior is not condoned, because you would have been going to everybody else. You would have been going to the president. Bro, this is somebody off of zero that you cannot even do that if somebody had to come off of zero and protect his mom and sister. Just because you deported his dad, but then he already know that just because he get more girls than other people and is in front of the stage does not mean you do that. Just because then I gotta hold it down and make a comeback. You do this after he almost die and pass away and get hit, bro, over here. So he gotta go hospital, almost pass away. And then this is when you guys still do that off of his comeback and he's in the Winners Club on the bench. I never heard of this before you didn't even pay me first, bro. So how all of that happened before you ever sent him money 24/7 since high school? You pulling up with body cams and federale police trying to stop him from doing what he does. But then still pull back balling with 50 records, bro. That's why he dropped the song Real One, still state to state international, and you still gotta pay him and owe him a lot of funding. A lot of resources, a lot of money, a lot of funding, especially if you're not paying him his royalties. Any of that torturous interference, which will go down a lot of accounts if you literally had to look at what you did before. This is from 15 years ago, just pulling up with feds back to back, to then have the feds running around behind my house with this and that, acting cool, bro, trying to put on a show. No, you gotta pay me. Because if you're talking about tax dollars and all of that, that'll go straight to court and you would owe me billions. That's why he dropped records instead of that. And he's still on zero. And you guys making movies on Netflix and videos about my life, even about this and that. And then people buying houses, that's the feds around me, instead of giving him houses every single day of the week, bro. And that's in cash.